Okay, this is gonna be a tough one. Today's episode, Inspiration Manifestation. Rarity has agreed to develop a traveling puppet stage to be used as the annual Philly Fair, but unfortunately her design is rejected. Hey, her whole thing is form over function, okay? Wailing in desperation and nomming on some ice cream, she feels hopeless until Spike, who has been helping her all along, finds a mysterious book in the old castle, which ends up giving Rarity the ability to, well, warp reality. Think Discord with more bling. Unfortunately, the power consumes her, and she goes crazy, and Spike has to learn the lesson of being honest with her versus being a yes man, with Aloysius acting as his conscience. I gotta be honest here, this one's going to really put my objective analyst side to the test. I usually have no problem divorcing my emotional investment in the character from my rational perspective on said character. Or at least I think I don't. But now, as the 2 or 3 of you out there who are consistently viewing my videos know, I am a Rarity fan. A huge Rarity fan. To me, she is the most interesting and dynamic character in the show, with some wonderful qualities as well as some quirks and flaws that I think actually add to her character. And I can also be somewhat sensitive to other fans who I think can often be unfair to her. So whenever I see something that could possibly be exploited as fodder for the quote-unquote haters, well, that's when I basically get up into my don't fuck up Rarity ultra defensive mode. And unfortunately that means that's how I was watching most of this episode, Inspiration Manifestation. Watching Corey Powell write Rarity is kind of like watching kids run through a museum, not expecting them to be the most educated audience and just hope that they don't break anything. The few times she's written Rarity, particularly in the otherwise fantastic Sleepless in Ponyville, she seems to play up those stereotypes, even more than most writers. Fortunately, in this case, Rarity's bad behavior is swept under the rug in the end by being a product of black magic. Of course, that also means that anything as far as Rarity's character goes is only related to the beginning and end of the episode. And while I do like how she's being represented there, being grateful and appreciative of Spike's help, that does mean that this is ultimately not her episode. It is, unfortunately, Spike's. And while as far as Spike's episodes go, this isn't the worst, it still has some of the same problems of some of the earlier ones. Namely, the lack of consistency in characterization. Is he extremely competent and on the ball like in Lesson 0 and Power Ponies? Or is he weak and spineless and unsure of himself like he is in a lot of his other Focus episodes? This episode seems to have it both ways in that he is extremely helpful and smart when it comes to aiding Rarity, but then there are the infuriating moments where he's either oblivious to what's going on around him, or just too weak-willed to do what's right. Now I understand the motivation and the reasoning behind his actions here, but every time I think of this, I go back to Spike of Lesson 0, who was honest and forthright and telling it like it is to Twilight, who was clearly not in her right mind. When can we have some of that Spike back? Anyway, the episode on the whole was sort of meh, and I'm not sure how much I would have enjoyed it even without any concerns about Rarity. Spike isn't that consistent a character yet, and this episode hasn't really given me reason to look forward to more from him. So, until next time, like, subscribe, and favorite, and I am out of here! Yeah, I'm still working on that outro.